Hello class, this is going to be the last video in this playlist about site plans, I think. And in the last video I showed you how to fade out the satellite image so it's lighter along your site plan and more vibrant along the edges. I'm going to show you the reverse of that because sometimes that's a good way to do it for a project. It's really project dependent and what you want to do. And so I'm just going to turn off that layer to turn back on just the original satellite image. I'm going to make a new layer for this. Typically I wouldn't have both of these layers in here. Although I might try them both, I would pick one way of doing it or the other. And I'll talk about the one that I would select for this at the end of this video. So I'll go fade. I'll call this one fade because that's calling it something different. And the way I actually have to do this, I have to use layer mask for this one. It's going to be very similar to the way I did the feather in the previous video, but I have to do it through layer mask. So I am going to let's see, I'm going to actually take the whole satellite image and put a white box, no stroke, over the entire thing. So I can actually just draw a big rectangle. Now, this satellite image is going well beyond my drawing plane. So if I just wanted to do it within the drawing page, I could do it just as that way as well. So I'm going to start there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my transparency with the object selected. I'm going to say make mask, and we can see the whole thing is black because it's clipped. So I'm going to unclip it to bring it all back in. And now I'm going to click this box here to enter my layer mask, and I'm going to set my color to black. Black is going to make it so that it takes away the white. So we'll see this here in a second. And I'm going to draw around my property line. Again, if you wanted to copy your property line into here and set the fill to black, you could do it that way. And when I first draw this property line, it is going to look like nothing because it's all hidden below the rendering anyway. But we can see I've got that black shape right here. And similar to the way I did it in the previous video, to start to see this object, I'm going to use Effects, Distort, Transform, and scale this to be larger. In this case, I'm going to do it about 200% and just say OK. And yes, could I scale it any other way? Again, you could, but this way allows me to edit it easier in the future. So I'll just say OK. And when I've done that, now it's just taken that black box and made it bigger. And so where it's black, it blocks out the white. And so we can see now I've got this white edge here. And now I'm going to take this object and I'm going to feather it to make this transition smooth between the two. So I'll go to Effects, I'll go to Stylize, and I'll go to Feather, and I can probably use 2 inches again, and we can see that then feathers it in. So now I've got the most satellite image being revealed along the edges and the least along the sides. Now, like any layer mask, to get back to the drawing, I have to click out to this box, otherwise I can't do anything. And I'm going to now, because obviously this white is way too white for the image, so I'm gonna take this transparency downwards to wherever I think sees fit. 60-ish seems to be working fairly decently, and so when I zoom out, minimize that, we can see what I have now is a darker satellite image around here and lighter around the edges, and sometimes that makes sense. So again, just like in the previous one, my eyes being drawn towards the center. Now, I have used either of these methods for site plans for drawings, but I think there is a best answer for this particular drawing we're looking at. And that's because when I do this method, it really says this area is the focus and the context is really important. So if that is what your drawing is, that's great. But this is not really what's happening for this particular design, because the immediate context around my site here is not all that important. What's more important is what's happening along the edges and then the connection between the more important things and the site itself. And so in that case, I would say for this drawing, I really would use the one what I did in the previous video, which is to say fade it around here just to make that site plan pop a little bit, but allow the edges to read more strongly, to show the connection that I have to the rest of the community. But again, I've done projects where the other way is the right thing to do. So they're both optional. They're both little tweaks to help with the satellite image a little bit. Choose to use the way you want, and of course experiment with anything you want, anything in this playlist that I've done about site plans. I always experiment all the time. The thing is, the thing you see on the screen right now, and hopefully you can do, looks interesting. It doesn't look like a basic, stupid Illustrator drawing, as they often can. A little bit of work with effects and textures and thinking about the drawing and making it the way you want can really go a long way. So have fun drawing site plans or anything else that you want to draw, and good luck, and thanks for watching.